If your goal is to lose fat, you should avoid diet soda, right? Wrong. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why diet soda actually trumps drinking water if your goal is to lose fat and actually stick to your diet plan. And if you stick around, I'm also going to give you 5 types of people and 5 reasons why you should actually avoid it. So let's jump right in. What's up, guys? I'm your coach, Eric Bowling. If you're new to the channel, first and foremost, let me just say welcome. I've been a health and fitness coach and a personal trainer over the last decade, and I've helped thousands of people just like you get lean, optimize their health, and live a much healthier and happier life. But let's go ahead and jump right in because that's exactly why you're here. So look, number 1, it tastes good, and nothing tastes better than 0 calories. And you might be saying, well, it's not actually 0 calories, and you're right. It's less than 1 calorie. And that leads me into point number 2. If you're someone who's been drinking regular soda, you might be drinking 200 all the way up to 1,000 calories per day from regular soda consumption. And if you were my client and you told me that, hey, I want to quit Coke, but I don't know if I can just stick to drinking water, well, switching to diet soda might be an actual good bridge instead of just cutting out things cold turkey. And if that was the one thing that can help you be a little bit more consistent on your plan, then more kudos to you. Number 3, diet soda can be a very powerful appetite suppressant. And this is one of the great things that research has found recently, that when you compare long-term studies of people drinking just solely water versus people who were drinking something with an artificial sweetener in it, but it was also 0 calories and calories were equated equally, they actually find that there was better adherence overall and overall better weight loss with the groups that did have things that were artificially sweetened. Now, this is not to say that there is some magical powers in having something that is artificially sweetened, so don't think that the superpowers lie in that. It's simply that those people were more than likely able to adhere to their plan better because instead of being so rigid and only being able to drink water, having something like a diet soda every now and then could be something that can just help you stick to your plan, which is really what leads us into point number 4. If it helps you stick to your plan, what harm is it actually doing? You see, when we look at fat loss and we look at maintaining, which is the biggest issue for most people, you have to understand that we have to look at everything as, is it a pebble on the road or is it a boulder? And when we look at things like diet soda or diet soda consumption, for most people, it can be a pebble on the road because the big boulder in front of them is the fact that they're over consuming by 1,000 calories every night by indulging a bag of chips, which is really why you have to look at the big picture at the end of the day. If it helps you stick to your plan, it's okay to have. And number 5, it can help you fight off cravings. Most people crave things that are sweet or salty. And sometimes the combination of both the sweet and the fizziness of diet sodas in general can be something that can prevent cravings of something else. Okay, now hold on just 1 second. Now, before you guys go and run to the store to go grab a 12-pack of Diet Coke, let me know, do you drink Diet Coke? And what are your thoughts on it? Put in the comments below and let's start up a conversation. And as promised, we also said that we would go into the types of people who shouldn't drink diet soda and some of the reasons why they shouldn't. So let's look at the first type of person. And this is going to be someone who is insulin resistant. Now, if you're not sure what insulin resistance is, or you're not sure if you're insulin resistant, you can just go ahead and look at the playlist that I have up there and watch that after this video. And it'll help you figure out exactly if you are insulin resistant and what you can do about it to start reversing it naturally. But I think people who are insulin resistant should probably be avoiding diet soda in general. And there is some research that exists that shows that even though diet sodas are 0 calories, that it still might trick your brain into thinking that it's sweet, and that sense of sweetness can still produce insulin. And if you're someone who is trying to keep your insulin production under control, diet soda might not be the best thing, which is really what brings us into this next point. And that is that a lot of this is varied by individuals. So while we talked about how diet soda can be an appetite suppressant and it can curb cravings for some people, there's also a big group of people where diet soda is going to trigger something that is going to make them crave other foods. And this can actually be something that has to do more with habits and psychological triggers than it has to do with the diet soda itself. Let's say, for example, that over the last 20 years, every time you went out for Chinese food, you had a diet soda or some type of soda beverage with your meal. And so now that you're bringing diet soda back into your diet, that now when you drink that, that is causing a trigger that is making you think, oh, Chinese food or junk food or fast food, whatever it may be. And then that diet soda is leading you to then go and binge on junk food. Well, if that's the type of person you are, and those are some of the triggers that you have, then you should put a high priority on trying to avoid diet soda drinks in general, because it's just not good for you. Now, another thing to consider is that some people are sensitive to artificial sweeteners. Now, while the majority of these studies surrounding this topic are primarily done in rodents, I think it's still beneficial to look at. Now, what they found was that in large amounts exceeding the ADI, which is the acceptable daily intake of things like sucralose and aspartame, that it can start to cause some damage to the gut microbiome. And this is really where this topic of artificial sweeteners being harmful to the gut microbiome and your gut health in general can really start to scare people off when it comes to diet soda consumption. Now, I think the thing that you guys have to understand is that when you look at the studies, the amount that is given is tremendous. So you would have to be drinking, amounts that you could not possibly even consume in a single day for you to start seeing the effects on the gut microbiome. Now, while this research still is developing, it's not to say that over time, large consumptions of Diet Coke or diet sodas in general can start to be harmful when we start to investigate the effects over years and decades. So I think while this research is still developing, I do think for some people who might think it's harmful to the gut microbiome or who are sensitive to artificial sweeteners in general should probably keep them out of their diet. Which leads me into the next point, not necessarily just looking at the gut microbiome, but looking at food sensitivities. Now, there is some research that exists, and as well as anecdote, that artificial sweeteners for some people can cause things like being bloated. It can cause them to be gassy. It can even cause things like IBS. So I think one thing that you just have to consider for yourself is if you start to drink any type of diet soda and you are feeling gassy or, you're having digestive issues, I think if you as a person should probably avoid it. And the last reason why you should pretty much avoid diet sodas in general is beliefs. And what I mean by that is that for some people, no amount of evidence or research that exists will convince you that diet sodas are okay to bring in. And if you completely subscribe to the natural is better than artificial, well, look, more power to you. You should keep doing that. Actually, I have a video that I did there, which is a great natural and healthy alternative to soda drinks in general. The only thing to keep in mind about this one, which I don't explain in that video, is that it isn't necessarily a one-to-one comparison to diet soda, meaning that the drink that I have up there, while it is more natural, it does contain calories, whereas a diet soda does not. So I think one of the things that we can all take away from this video is that it really comes down to personal preference. And if keeping some types of diet soda drinks in your diet is going to make you stick to it longer term, then I think it's going to be something that can be very beneficial and helpful. I don't see any harm in it. But let me know, what do you guys think? If you think it's harmful to your health, or if you think there is research that I did not cover, put it in the comments below. Let's start up a conversation on this. I know I enjoy diet soda every now and then, but if I have too much, I do feel some effects. So as we said before, I do think it's highly individualized and it's varied. And look, if you guys like this video, let me know by leaving a like. And if you dislike this video because you're like, diet soda is the worst thing ever, go ahead and hit the dislike button 2 times. And that's it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button so you don't miss when these videos drop. And the other thing is, go ahead and check this out. This playlist here is kind of the ones that I hinted to in the beginning of the videos that I think you guys would find very beneficial. So a lot of stuff in there that you guys can watch. So go over there next and enjoy.